Learn English through story. A dangerous path of love. In the bustling city of Caldera, where gleaming skyscrapers and the hum of life filled the air, lived a woman named Laura. She was in her mid-30s, confident, and successful, a corporate lawyer with an impeccable record. Her life seemed perfectly orchestrated, with a well-paid job, a beautiful apartment, and a future that looked promising from the outside. But beneath the polished veneer lay an emptiness she had long ignored. One evening, after a long day in court, Laura found herself walking along the waterfront. The cool breeze off the bay calmed her, but it also stirred something inside, a yearning for something more than what her career and possessions could provide. She had achieved everything society deemed important, but love, deep and meaningful, had always eluded her. As she sat on a bench overlooking the water, she noticed a man sketching in a notebook nearby. He was older than her, perhaps by 10 or 15 years, with silver threads woven into his dark hair. His eyes were focused, yet there was an air of ease about him. Intrigued, she found herself walking over. "That's beautiful," she remarked, looking at the sketch of the cityscape he was drawing. The man looked up and smiled, his dark eyes warm and inviting. "Thank you. The city has a life of its own, don't you think?" Laura nodded. "It does. I'm Laura, by the way." He extended his hand. Dominic. From that moment, their conversations flowed naturally. Dominic was an artist, someone who had lived a life filled with travel, creativity, and passion. His free-spirited nature contrasted sharply with Laura's structured world, but that was what drew her to him. In Dominic, she saw everything she lacked: a man who lived for the present, who followed his heart, and who was unfettered by the conventions of society. Over the next few weeks, Laura and Dominic became inseparable. They spent evenings walking through the city, visiting galleries, or simply talking late into the night. For the first time in years, Laura felt alive. Dominic spoke of love in a way she had never experienced before, intense, all-consuming, and transformative. Yet, as their relationship deepened, Laura began to notice the shadows lurking in Dominic's life. He was evasive about his past and often disappeared for days without explanation. When she questioned him, he would smile, brush her concerns aside, and reassure her that everything was fine. But everything was not fine. Laura's friends began to worry about her. They had seen her change, how she had distanced herself from her old life, how she had abandoned her career ambitions, and how she seemed to revolve her world around Dominic. But whenever they expressed concern, Laura dismissed them, convinced that they couldn't understand the depth of the love she had found. One evening, as they lay in bed, Dominic turned to her, his face serious. "There's something I need to tell you," he began, his voice low. Laura's heart raced. She had known this moment would come, the moment when the truth about Dominic's mysterious life would be revealed. "What is it?" "I've been keeping something from you." He paused, as if searching for the right words. "I owe a lot of money to people who broken bar aren't exactly forgiving. I've made some mistakes." Laura sat up, her mind spinning. "What do you mean, Dominic? What kind of people?" Dominic sighed and ran a hand through his hair. "People who expect their debts to be paid. I've been trying to figure a way out, but it's complicated." Laura felt a chill run down her spine. This was not what she had expected. "How much money?" "Enough that they're getting impatient," Dominic admitted, his eyes dark with worry. The revelation shattered the illusion of their perfect love. Laura's logical mind, the part of her trained to deal with problems, kicked in. She could help him, she thought. She could find a way to fix this. "Let me help," she offered. "I have money. I can talk to people, make things right." Dominic shook his head. "It's not that simple. These aren't people you can reason with. They're dangerous, Alara." Despite his warnings, Alara was determined to save him. She loved Dominic with a fervor that clouded her judgment. She began to dip into her savings to pay off his debts, each time believing it would be the last. But the more she gave, the more Dominic needed. The man she had fallen in love with began to slip away, replaced by someone desperate, someone willing to drag her down with him. Months passed, and Alara's life spiraled further out of control. Her career, once her pride and joy, had taken a back seat to Dominic's mounting problems. She no longer cared about winning cases or climbing the corporate ladder. All that mattered was keeping Dominic safe. But one night, everything changed. Alara received a call from an unknown number. On the other end was a voice that chilled her to the bone. "Dominic owes us a lot of money, and time's running out. If you care about him, you'll pay up." Fear gripped her as she realized the gravity of the situation. Dominic hadn't told her the full extent of his entanglements. These weren't just loan sharks, these were dangerous people, capable of far worse than she had imagined. Panicked, Alara confronted Dominic. "You said we were almost done with this. You said we were close." Dominic's face was etched with guilt. "I'm sorry, Alara. I didn't want to drag you into this. I thought I could handle it, but I can't." In that moment, Alara realized the trap that Dominic had been using her. Whether he loved her or not, she couldn't deny that he had taken advantage of her trust, her resources, and her love. She had given everything to him, and now, she had nothing left. "Alara, please," Dominic begged. "I need you. We can still fix this." But Alara was no longer the woman who had fallen blindly into his arms. She saw the danger for what it was, as she had been walking a dangerous path, and it had nearly consumed her. She couldn't save Dominic, no matter how much she loved him. The next day, Alara made the hardest decision of her life. She packed her things and left. She cut off all contact with Dominic, blocking his number and changing her address. It wasn't easy. Her heart ached for him, for the love she had lost. But she knew that staying would destroy her. In the months that followed, Alara rebuilt her life. It was painful, slow work, but she found solace in the stability she had once taken for granted. Her career, her friendships, and her sense of self began to mend, piece by piece. She had been burned by love, but she had also learned a powerful lesson: a love without boundaries, love that consumes without giving back, is dangerous. One evening, as she walked along the waterfront, she found herself back at the bench where she had first met Dominic. The city lights flickered on the water, and the cool breeze brushed against her skin. She sat down, feeling the weight of her journey. A part of her would always love Dominic, but she understood now that love wasn't enough to fix everything. She had to love herself first, to protect her own well-being, even if it meant walking away from the man she had once thought was her everything. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Alara rose from the bench. She had walked a dangerous path, but she had found her way back. And in that moment, she knew that she was stronger, wiser, and more complete than she had ever been before. The path of love could be treacherous, but it could also lead to profound growth. And while Alara had nearly lost herself in the process, she had emerged with a deeper understanding of what it truly meant to love, not recklessly, but wisely, with both heart and mind working in harmony. And with that knowledge, Alara knew that, one day, she would find love again. But this time, it would be on her own terms, with a heart that was both open and strong. I hope you enjoyed the story. If you enjoyed, then please like and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.